If you want to see your Uncle Spur do some grade A gushing, well, brace yourself, there's going to be gush aplenty in this review, because these cans right here, some of my favourite premium headphones of 2025 so far. The JBL Tour One M3 headphones will set you back 329 quid by themselves. Or you can pick them up for 50 quid more with the Smart TX transmitter bundled in, which I'll bang on about more in a bit. So they certainly ain't cheap, but they're absolutely stuffed to the nipples with absolutely fantastic features. And I've been using the JBL Tour One M3s as my full-time headphones for about a week now, so here's my in-depth review. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So let's start with the design, and certainly nothing remarkable there. The Tour One M3s resemble any number of premium and not so premium headphones. They don't feel stupidly oversized or anything. The cans aren't particularly slender, but they're not too wide. Not the most attractive pair of headphones, admittedly, but not unattractive either, just kind of unremarkable. They look exactly what they are, plastic. The actual interior band is made of metal, and that seems pretty rugged and durable. This thing can put up with quite a lot of punishment. And basically all the designer elements you'd expect are there, like the fully rotating cups. You can just dangle these bad boys around your neck when you don't have them slapped on your bonce. And as well as this here mocha colour, these JBL headphones also come in black or blue. Now they may not be the sleekest headphones around, but they sure are super comfortable to wear even for hours and hours at a time. I've literally had these on all day at one point, didn't take them off. You got a generous amount of padding up here on the headband and of course around the cups themselves. Doesn't feel like the cups are squeezing on the sides of your head or anything. And the frame itself is reasonably lightweight as well. And of course you've got a fully adjustable headband as you would expect. The cups don't pop off, so you can't replace that if they get a bit sweaty or anything, which is a shame, but overall, cracking stuff. Oh, and well, I don't believe there's any kind of official IP rating or anything for water resistance. These things can get very moist indeed and still function absolutely fine. Now, the Tour One M3s pair to your smartphone using a bit of Bluetooth 5.3 action. And while you don't need to download the JBL Headphones app in order to use these headphones, I would highly recommend doing so. Because after all, that's how you'll access most of the features and settings here on these headphones. Such as, for instance, the ability to tweak the controls, play around with equalizer settings, all kinds of stuff. But more on all of that in a bit. Now, the JBL Tour One M3s sport 40mm mica drivers. They support 24-bit high-res audio wireless streaming. Good bit of LDAC action, all of that shenanigans. And as I just mentioned, you've got an equalizer built into that app with a bunch of presets you can select from. Otherwise, you can manually tweak all of these as well. But the tool that I found really boosted the audio chops here on these headphones was personalised. And this can help to produce a personalised sound profile based on your own hearing. Now, you will have to turn off the LDAC, the high-res audio streaming, for this to work, but I found that was a more than worthy sacrifice. The result's definitely worth it if, like me, you struggle to hear certain pitches clearly. You just have to spend 5 minutes doing a hearing test where you basically keep tapping the screen every time you can no longer hear a certain tone, and then at the end of it, spaffs out a proper full-on hearing test report, and it generates your own sound profile, which you can activate or deactivate by poking this wee slider here. And yes, this does work in conjunction with the equalizer presets as well, so you can still boost the bass, highlight the vocals, whatever you fancy. And with my personalised sound profile switched on in the JBL app, I suddenly found those highs were remarkably clear and the overall sound was just perfectly balanced. And JBL has stuffed some other audio options into the app as well. So for instance, you can tweak the left-right sound balance. You've also got a maximum volume limiter. What about the controls on the Tour One M3s? Well, again, these work rather well. Over on the left cup, it's pretty simple stuff. You've basically got a volume rocker, so you can quickly and easily boost the volume up or lower it back down. Now, over on the right cup, there's a bit more going on, but it doesn't feel crowded. You've got the power slide and switch. You've also got the ANC/ambient noise switch, which it cycles between the different noise cancelling modes. And over on that right cup, you've also got a touch sensitive panel, which you can tap in order to pause or play your music. You can also double tap it to skip forward a track, triple tap in order to skip back a track. All perfectly responsive and intuitive to use as well. You've got tonal feedback, so you know exactly when your taps are registering, which is just every time you try and tap, basically. And mercifully, whenever I've been wearing a hoodie with the hood up, that hasn't confused the touch panel. Sometimes with headphones, you can just brush against the inside of that hood and that counts as a touch. But much like your mum, these headphones only respond to my fingers. And you've also got support for auto, play and pause. So you can have whatever you're listening to suddenly cease if you were to pluck the headphones off and then resume again when you stick them back on. And if we jump back on into the JBL app, you'll also see a feature in there called Smart Talk. And what this does is the headphones will automatically pause your music or podcast, whatever you're listening to, when they detect that you are speaking. And of course, that's not much good if, like myself, you do talk to yourself quite a lot because you spend pretty much all day, every day, stuck in a tiny little box room chatting at an inanimate object like this here bloody camera, and frankly it's driving you slightly stir crazy. It's also not particularly great if, again, like myself, you occasionally flip out and just scream at your laptop or the sky or whatever else, because all this will just halt your musical enjoyment and completely unnecessarily. But all good because it is deactivated by default, and I did switch it on and test it out and it seems to work if that's the kind of feature you would like to have, but yeah, just off for me, thanks. But one of the best things about the JBL Tour One M3s is they support JBL's latest clever clogs tech, Smart TX. Now, operating by itself, this basically works like a dinky remote control, complete with a touchscreen for adjusting the audio settings, muting yourself on calls, skipping tracks, all kinds of stuff. And of course, any of these tools that you don't want on here, that you don't use, you can get rid of. It's fully customizable, this UI. And you do also have built-in Auracast support as well. So if any of your buddies have Auracast headphones, they can connect wirelessly and listen in. However, the best thing about the Smart TX transmitter is it can basically hook up to any device that has a basic analog output, where you can also connect it to electronic devices using a bit of USB Type-C. So you can get these headphones working with any old device that doesn't support Bluetooth streaming, such as, for instance, this old Evercade console. So I can enjoy that glorious 8-bit chiptune action. And of course, this should also work gloriously well with airplanes with their in-flight entertainment systems. Saves you having to use the less than stellar headphones that they usually chuck in the back of the seat. Absolutely zero latency or any issues like that I've experienced so far, at least for my first week of use. So it's a massively fantastic addition. Highly recommend picking it up if you do have older consoles, you do a lot of traveling, etc. With a fully charged TX transmitter, you'll get a few hours of streaming, no worries, but it's also got a separate USB port for charging as well, so you can just keep that powered up and stream indefinitely. And another feature that's perhaps briefly worth banging on about is the Spatial Sound tool, which is not my kind of thing, but it's there if you want it. Turn on the head tracking feature, for instance, when you're enjoying a bit of music, and it's kind of like listening to your band playing right in front of you. You turn your head and the music keeps coming from that direction. So yeah, it's kind of like listening to your favorite band playing at a festival, except you're not constantly being jostled by people who are spilling their warm pints of Fosters all over you. I'll say again, not my kind of thing, but it's there if you want it. It seems to work pretty well. And JBL has also chucked on its True Adaptive Noise Cancelling 2.0 feature with no less than 8 built-in mics to monitor the surrounding sound and then block it all out. Again, fully customizable within the app and also via the transmitter and via the built-in controls. So you can either have ANC on full, you can also tweak the level of ANC manually like so. Otherwise you can turn on adaptive ANC, which adapts on the fly depending on how much noise is going on all around you. And you've got the likes of the ambient aware, which again you can control the level of, and that just actually allows sound to filter in from outside if you're, doing a bit of jogging or you're, crossing roads, you don't want to get mowed down by the number 17 bus. And I found that between the ANC Smart and also just the general noise isolation afforded by the generous sized cups and their respectable amount of padding, I found that, generally most things going on around you are quite comfortably blocked out when you need them to be. Certainly more than up to the job for a bit of commuting, cutting out all that horrible screechy train and tube shenanigans, although I'm yet to test the JBL Tour One M3s on a plane. It should come in very handy for that, especially as you've got the Silent Now feature. This gives you full-on noise cancellation even when you're disconnected from your device. And as you can see there, you can set a timer for exactly how long you want it to start. It can actually wake you up at the end of it as well with a bit of alarm action if you fancy it. And as someone who can, on occasion get a little bit stressed out, maybe just a smidge angry at times. It's good to see that JBL has built some relaxing sounds into the app. So wherever you go, you can enjoy the sounds of a crackling campfire or a bit of wave action. Murderous desires fading. And you've got a quad mic setup right here on the JBL Tour One M3s for taking calls on the move, plus more AI noise cancellation shenanigans, so whoever you're chatting with can clearly hear your voice even over all kinds of background racket. And this certainly seems to work well. I've had zero complaints when I have been chatting on the move, even when I've been piddling about in central London or whatever. And lastly, the battery life has also been rather ruddy good here on the JBL Tour One M3s. JBL quotes these bad boys as having up to 70 hours of battery life from a single charge. Of course, that is with active noise cancellation turned off, most of the tools switched off. In fact, I've had ANC on pretty much the entire time I've been testing these bad boys, and I've slightly lost track of actually how long they've been going on the single charge, but it's approximately between 40 and 50 hours with ANC on and the personalised sound profile, all that shenanigans. Full fast charge support if you do need it. Just 5 minutes plugged in will give you around 4 to 5 hours of audio action. So these things certainly built for travel, and indeed I've got a trip to New York at the end of the month. It's going to be Tuesday to Saturday. I'll take these cans away fully charged, and I don't think I'll have to recharge them the entire trip, and hopefully the ANC will work an absolute charm on that plane. Fingers crossed anyway. Almost 8 hours in economy, always fun. And of course I'll be taking the transmitter away so I can enjoy a bit of in-flight entertainment, or just a bit of Dizzy on my Evercade. So anyway, that right there, my lovelies, is my full final frank review of the JBL Tour One M3 headphones. Can be yours for just 329 quid, otherwise chuck a bit more on top of that for the TX transmitter. Be great to hear your thoughts. They're certainly some of my favourite premium headphones of 2025 thus far. Please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone. Love you.